We are back in with another episode of Dyson Sphere Program, and since last time I've done quite a little bit of work around our planet, and we have established a lot more factories producing some more common components. But today I really want to just concentrate on getting some more technologies and some more upgrades, and finally start producing some of these red science matrices. And these red science matrices are going to require 2 of these energetic graphites, as well as 2 of these hydrogen particles. And the energetic graphite cylinders aren't going to be an issue. Our factory has produced a lot of them, so I think a good start here will be looking into getting some hydrogen, which means we get to play with some new buildings, including the water pump, the oil extractor and the oil refinery. Well, I'm assuming that we're going to need some water to produce hydrogen, so we'll get one of these water pumps and we'll try stick it in the ocean here. We need some foundation support. Well, I already have unlocked our foundation research, so if I put that in the water, that raises the land, but we can now put our water pump on top of it. I think I'll add some more foundation just behind that, so we can then put in a storage tank, and I think I can take a conveyor belt out and place it straight inside it. Let's get this thing powered on, and the oil refinery is the building that will make our oil and hydrogen. So we'll stick that onto the end here. There is only one option in our oil refinery, and that is to make plasma. So I'm going to go with that, and I think this is maybe what we do. I had that whole setup completely wrong. We actually start off with an oil extractor on top of some crude oil. I've just put that into some storage tanks, and then it comes into this oil refinery. So we then have crude oil coming into the refinery, and that's going to produce us some of this refined oil, as well as our hydrogen, and they are just being split off by separate sorters. So one storage tank is going to have all of our hydrogen, and the other one is going to have this refined oil. Well, I found a crude oil node a bit closer to our main factory, so I've set up another one of these oil extracting plants, and we'll get some hydrogen out this way, and we're pretty close to our graphite as well. So now if I could just pull both of those resources over, we can start producing our red cubes. And I noticed we can stack our matrix labs on top of each other, so I'm wondering if I could have blue science being made underneath and the red science being made on top. Okay, well that doesn't work, but it's going to let us make more of the blue science cubes from one space rather than 2, so yeah, okay, I'll leave that to just do blue science. I will make red elsewhere. Okay, grand. We now have our red science matrices now being made, although at 10 per minute, very slowly. I don't know how many of these matrix labs I can build on top of each other. That's just 3. Exceed of the max height of vertical construction. Upgradable. That will be this upgrade here, vertical construction, which is going to cost a whopping 400 red science cubes. That's going to need to wait. So while we wait on those red science cubes being made for us, I may as well look into other technologies and upgrades that we can get. Which we can get this basic chemical engineering upgrade that's going to give us some chemical plants, as well as unlocking plastic, and finally sulfuric acid for us, and only requiring 200 blue science cubes. We can also get the semiconductor material technology, and that's going to unlock these microcrystalline components. The last technology that we can unlock is part of our main quest, and this is going to give us solar collection, which will give us solar panels, and this only requires 200 blue science cubes, so we'll also include that one. Everything else is going to require red science cubes. How are we looking? 44. We're not really producing these very fast. I think I might need to make some more labs. Actually, maybe not, because it seems that we have a lack of hydrogen being produced right now. Because once again, I think this is all just down to efficiency. Our oil extractor is producing 96 crude oil per minute, but our singular oil refinery is only producing 15 items per minute. So we have a lot of scope for growth here. And I think another 1 to 6 balancer will be in order here. We can have 6 refineries producing this stuff. I'm hoping that this is going to work, because I'm assuming that the storage tanks are going to act as splitters here for us. Well, I was able to put in 5 refineries, and I think that this storage is splitting things, but everything is moving now, and I think we should be now producing more of these hydrogen particles for our red science cubes, which it does seem to be the case. Yes, the red science cubes are now coming in a lot faster, so that'll be grand. I'll be able to get some more technology upgrades. And the very first technology upgrade I'm going for is our high efficiency logistic systems, because I want faster conveyor belts as well as sorter arms. So let's enqueue that. That'll come just after our solar panel upgrade. Whilst I was making that refinery factory, our semiconductor material technology has completed, and we can now do this processor one, and that's going to unlock our processor components. but it's quite an expensive one, requiring 800 blue science cubes. I will enqueue it, but that's going to be quite some time before we get it. We also finished the basic chemical engineering technology, and that means that we have now got access to these applied semiconductors, and this is going to unlock graphene material for us, which seems to maybe be a fuel, as well as the graphene advanced recipe. And because this only requires blue science cubes, we'll just enqueue that as well. The other technologies at the moment do seem to be requiring these red science cubes, but we will get there eventually with them, seeing as in that very short time we've almost amassed another 100 of them already. Well, we now have access to our planet and other planets by the looks of it, because we unlocked our solar panel technology. And that giant planet beside us is a gas giant, and it's unreachable. We require drive engine 2 before we can get to it. Zooming further out, we can see the star that we might put the Dyson Sphere around, as well as maybe another 2 planets that we could visit. This one here requires a drive engine 2 as well, and it just says planet lava. I'm not sure what materials are on it. Actually, looking at the side panel here, I can see that we've got a lot of different materials that we could get from it, including silicon ore, which will go towards making our solar panels. And the last planet over here seems to have a lot of titanium ore on it, as well as some stone, so it might be worth visiting there as well whenever we can. But in the meantime, I'm more than happy mining absolutely everything we can from this tiny planet until it's all used up and dead. But we do now have access to our solar panels, and they are going to require 6 copper ingots, as well as 6 of those silicon bars and 4 electronic components to make. And it just so happens that I have a very bad factory over here actually making all of these high purity silicon bars for us. So I've just placed a solar panel over here, and I'm well aware that this will only work whenever we do have sunlight. But how much power will it produce? Well, the sun should be rising any second now, and I'm hoping this is going to put our solar panels into activation mode, which I've already seen it has started. So the power that it's producing is only in the kilowatts, but then again the sun intensity isn't too much at the moment, so this is going to be a variable one. It looks as if at 100% intensity this is going to produce about 350 to 400 kilowatts per solar panel here. We could actually have a few of them put up, and that's at least some nice free power for us. Well, in the meantime, while I wait on these red science cubes being made for me so I can get some more technologies, I think I'm going to come into our chemical plant and start creating some of these plastic materials, which is going to require some of these refined oils, as well as some energetic graphites. And in our storage tank from our oil refinery system, we are already producing this refined oil, so I'll just hook a system up for this. It's not the best setup that we've got. Our chemical plant is making our plastic at a rate of 20 per minute, but it requires 2 of these refined oils every 3 seconds, or the equivalent of 40 every minute, and our oil refinery is giving us refined oil at a rate of roughly 30 every minute. So it's not the most efficient, but at least we're getting some plastic in. And that is our high efficiency logistics system technology research now complete. So we now have access to a better conveyor belt, as well as a better sorter arm and some bigger storage. And these Mark II conveyor belts are going to require the original conveyor belts, as well as these electromagnetic turbines, which we are still waiting on the research being done for. And same story for our sorter Mark III arms. At least the storage is nice and simple. In fact, I can actually maybe make a start on creating some of those right now. I have a small factory creating our normal storage here, and all I need to do is swap out the iron ingots for steel ingots, which shouldn't be too difficult to do, because we'll just simply take a split out of our normal iron ingots and put them into another smelter to make our steel ingots within this. It's a shame that we can't use Mark I storage to make these Mark II storage, seeing as I've got a lot of Mark I ones now. But after we set our assembler machines to make the bigger storage, and then actually get some storage itself to put it into, we are now producing our Mark II storage, which is going to give us a lot more room for items. As we wait on our processor technology being unlocked, I think in the meantime we should look into making these microcrystalline components. These microcrystalline components are going to require 60 of these high purity silicon bars every minute, as well as 30 of the copper ones. And our silicon factory over here should be producing 30 every minute, but these conveyor belts are way too slow, so we're not getting anywhere near that at the moment. But once we upgrade them, we should start getting more in. So for now, we're just going to make a nasty factory making these microcrystalline components. Well, nasty, but functional. The last component that we now have to make is the sulfuric acid, and that is going to require some refined oil, as well as stone and water. Well, at least we're already producing water thanks to our very failed first attempt to make hydrogen. So now, just to bring some stone and this refined oil over to this chemical plant. And at least the refined oil isn't going to be too difficult to get, albeit just another mess with conveyor belts to get it over here. And after checking our planet map, we don't have any stone nearby. I think the stone over here is closest. So yep, I'm going to now need to pull another conveyor belt all the way over to this little factory here. And yep, looking at the blueprint for all those conveyor belts, this is rather horrible. I really hope there's a better way of transporting materials rather than having miles worth of conveyor belts. But again, at least that's another component being made for us, and we're now getting some sulfuric acid stored. So let's check up on our red science cubes and see how that's looking, which the answer is pretty well actually. We now have quite a lot of the red cubes, so I think we should use them to upgrade our mecha next. So I'm just going to enqueue a few of these upgrades. That one's going to give us some more energy. This one's going to allow us to walk a bit faster, carry some more items, and finally we'll unlock some more construction drones. So I've looked a bit ahead in our technology tree and seen we've got this Planetary Logistic System, and this is going to unlock our Conveyor Belts Mark III, as well as a Planetary Logistics Station and some logistic drones. And I'm always a big fan of drones in these factory building games. The less I have to do, the better. The research requirements for it are pretty easy, 800 blue cubes as well as 400 of the red cubes. But we require the thruster technology first, which technology is down here. And also that's our processors now done. And the thruster technology is going to require 1000 of these red science cubes, which is a lot for now, but we will be able to get that as well after we unlock this hydrogen fuel rod technology, which only requires 400 of the red science cubes. So we'll enqueue that, because I would like to get thrusters and then I would like to get drones. But in the meantime, we can now make these processor components, which are going to require 2 circuit boards and 2 of these microcrystalline components. And I already have a factory producing these circuit boards for us, although they are supposed to be feeding into these matrix labs just now to make our blue cubes, but that's come to a halt because I think our storage is full. And maybe I should upgrade this storage first, which that will do nicely. But I'm still going to take a split from this and take this away over to a microcrystalline factory, and we'll start producing some of these processors. Maybe these drones will be the answer to my conveyor belt problem, but for now I just need to go with the spaghetti. But at least, once again, albeit incredibly inefficient, we do have a new factory up producing a new component, and this is our processor components. So I thought I had this magnetic levitation technology, which is going to unlock these electromagnetic turbines already active, but I've seen our queue is full, and we are currently working on a supplied superconductor technology, which is going to give us these graphite components, but it's going to take another 9 minutes before it's complete. But I believe we can use these matrix labs to actually help us speed up our research, because they've got 2 modes. One of them is making these matrices, another one is research. So I'm going to click on the research one, and I think I now need to feed us both of these different type of science cubes. And yes, this matrix lab is now giving us these hashes per second, and this is greatly speeding up our research. Okay, I'm going to place a few more of these down if I can fit them in, and we'll try and get our research up and running here pretty quick. Well, it was a bit tricky to set up, but we've now got 3 of these matrix labs helping us with our research. But at least now our research does seem to be coming in much faster. And now that we have room in our queue, I can go for this magnetic levitation technology. And that's the vertical construction upgrade. This is one I'm interested in, because with it we can now add another building to our storage, as well as 2 more layers onto our labs. So I'm hoping I can now build these labs even higher, which is that up to 5? Yes, I think it is. And I'm hoping that's also going to help speed up our research as well. So that's our hydrogen fuel rods now done, and I'm not sure if this is just a mecha only upgrade, because it is only saying about putting it into our own fuel chamber, or if these will be used elsewhere. And to make these fuel rods, we're going to need 1 titanium ingot first of all, as well as some hydrogen. Hydrogen, nice and easy. Titanium, not so much, because I'm going to need to get the technology upgrade first. And also, this planet that I'm on doesn't actually have any natural titanium ore nodes. Well, at least on the other hand, that's our electromagnetic turbine technology done, as well as our titanium ore smelting as well. Damn, that was fast. Well, I think for now I'm going to need to leave these hydrogen fuel rods until I can get myself a titanium source. And in the meantime, let's make some of these electromagnetic turbines, which are really nice and simple, just an electric motor, as well as a magnetic coil. And our electric motor factory over here has actually come to a halt because we have too many of these electric motors. So if I could now create a factory making the magnetic coils, I could just make them out here as well. Or I might just be able to steal from the factory that I already have making these electromagnetic coils. Yep, I'm more than happy with that. So now we're going to get these electromagnetic turbines being made for us. So to make these sorter arms Mark III, we're going to need the sorter arms Mark II, plus one of these new turbines. And just rather handily, I have a little factory over here already producing our Mark II sorter arms. And after using a conveyor belt to connect both factories, we are now producing these sorter arms Mark III. For our Mark II conveyor belts, we're going to need the original conveyor belt plus one of these turbines as well, so we'll head over to our conveyor belt factory and start producing Mark IIs here. Well, right after we start our thruster technology upgrade. And unfortunately, unlike our sorter arm factory, I'm actually going to need to make another factory to first make magnetic coils, so then we can make our turbines. It's very fortunate that we have all the resources so close by, although I will need to steal some of these electric motors from the electric motor factory and drag it all the way back over there. And these sorter arms Mark III are working at lightning speed. We're getting 3 trips per second out of them, which is absolutely crazy. So we are going to get our conveyor belts Mark II out stupidly quick. I just wish I could say the same about our technology, because these red science cubes are coming in very, very slowly, so this research is taking a hell of a long time. And our lack of red energy matrices seem to be due to these energetic graphites, which are coming out of our smelting factory at a very, very slow rate. But fortunately, I have a lot in storage, so I'm just going to connect all of these up and we'll get some more red science out. And they are now coming out crazy quick, again, thanks to our sorter Mark III arms. So at least for now, we seem to be back up and running, making these red science matrices. And I'm hoping I can stack more of the labs on top here and speed that up even further. Although with my oil refinery factory here, only half of it seems to be producing hydrogen at the moment, sending it in. This storage tank over here has 0 hydrogen in it, because all of these oil refineries don't have any crude oil in them, because I think this storage tank here isn't splitting them as I first thought they were. So hopefully replacing that storage with a splitter will actually help here. And yes, that seems to have done the trick. And I've doubled our red matrix producing facilities, so we now have 2 matrix labs producing them, so hopefully this will also help speed up this research. But with our thruster research now being done, we can now start the Planetary Logistic System technology to get the drones. So we'll activate it, and it only requires 400 red science. So hopefully this won't take too long. Well, while we wait on that research, I'm going to make some of these thruster components, which are really simple to do actually. We just need 2 steel beams and 3 copper ingots. So we now have a very quick but very inefficient factory now producing our thrusters for us. And just in time actually, because that's our Planetary Logistic System now complete. And the logistic drones themselves are also pretty simple to make. We just require 5 iron ingots, as well as 2 of these processor components and 2 thrusters, and we already have all of these components being manufactured for us. So for now, I'm just going to quickly make these logistic drones by hand, and we will set up a factory for them later. Ooh, but I've just seen the Planetary Logistic Station. That's actually quite a tall order to make. We're going to need 40 steel beams, which we've got, 40 titanium ingots, which sadly we don't have, 40 processors, which we will have, and we need 20 of these particle containers, which I don't think we yet have the research for. Well, our particle containers are actually part of the magnetic particle trap technology upgrade, and we also get a recipe to make them as well. So these are going to require 1600 blue science cubes and 800 of the red science cubes. I do have a few stacks of titanium ore which I could smelt down into ingots for us, just so we can get one of these planetary stations up for now. So I'll just feed these in by hand just now until we can get our titanium ingots required for this. And I've seen that this particle container is going to require those turbines, some copper ingots, as well as that graphene mesh. And our graphene mesh is going to require 3 of these energetic graphite cylinders, as well as 1 piece of sulfuric acid. So I'm really glad we built this chemical station making sulfuric acid earlier on. And so we now have a chemical plant set up that will make our graphene material. Well, that's our research done, so let's make these particle containers, which again we'll just do by hand for now, and now we can finally make the logistics station. So I've jumped ahead a bit just to get a feel for how these work, and really you need 2 of these stations to begin with. So with the setup that I have here, got a coal miner mining coal and delivering it into this planetary logistics station, and this station is set to supply, which means if any other logistics station demanded any of this coal, those drones would head out and deliver it to them. And you can see this station here is demanding some coal at the moment, although it's maxed out. But if I raise this max, then these drones are going to start coming out and delivering coal into it. So eventually this station will fill up with any material that we are demanding from it, and then it's just a simple case of taking it out of the station and putting it wherever we need. Although we do need to set a filter here, because we can have up to 3 items coming out, so we'll set that to coal, and that will come out into this little thermal power station here. And that's pretty much how this works. So these drones are going to be a major game changer here actually. This is going to save me a lot of conveyor belts, because if I can have these fly just anywhere and deliver around the planet, so long as they do have logistic stations, I'm going to save a lot of room. And yes, this does once again mean I'm going to need to redesign all of the factories I have around the planet to now incorporate these drones and these logistic stations. This is going to take quite some time, but I genuinely think it's going to be worth it. So I've got my work now set out for me, so the next time you see me and our factories here, I'm hoping things will look a little bit better, maybe a bit more efficient, but again it's me, don't expect too much. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.